It's my belief that one of the cornerstones to self-confidence, and even with that, higher self-esteem, is our ability to keep promises to ourselves. And that we all have this mental scorecard that we engage with at a subconscious level, that, like a flag in the wind, affects whether we think of ourselves in a positive light or a negative light. One example that I'll use to illustrate this is, let's say it's the top of the year, 2020 or 2021 in this case. You say, okay, well, I'm going to create a workout plan. I'm going to work out 6 days a week. You work out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You decide to take a day off. You say, well, look, it's Saturday. I hung out on Friday. I had a long week. I was consistent thus far. What harm will it do if I take this day off? And you take the day off, and to your suggestion, nothing happens. Right? You wake up on Sunday, you're still alive, everything's still good. You didn't lose weight or gain weight. But I'm sure you'd agree that when it's time to jump in to the saddle on Monday, it's going to be disproportionately harder to get back in motion than if you stay consistent. I've experienced that. I'm sure to some degree you have too. And there is something to be said about this quote that says, how you do one thing is how you do all things. Now, while I don't agree with that quote in the most extreme way, there is something to be said about someone that doesn't keep promises to themselves. If you don't keep your promise in this regard, I'm sure I can find, with some investigation, 2, 3, 4, 5 other ways or areas of your life where you're not keeping promises to yourself. And it all affects that scorecard I talked about. And then when you're in a situation where it's time to rise to an occasion, you have all this self-doubt. And you're in conflict with yourself, saying, why do I feel this way about myself? Why don't I feel confident? And it all goes back to that scorecard. It all goes back to that Saturday where you said, well, you know what? It's going to do me no harm if I take the day off, but it did long term. Because each and every promise that you break, it stacks up one after another. And that scorecards get worse and worse and worse. One example for me is, I said I'll shoot these videos, one video every 2 weeks, and I've missed a few. I'll just say that. And like the example at the top, it's been harder for me to keep consistent, right? Because that level of doubt, that level of inner resistance, it built up to a point. And now I had to call it out, and now I'm feeling more in the flow of things. Now, on that point, there's 3 things that I do to break back into a routine after I break it. Now, the first thing I do is identify the promise that I'm breaking, of course. The second thing that I do is I think deeply about the emotions and the behavior that follows my inability to execute, right? Because when it's time to work out on that Saturday, and you say, okay, time to get up, you're going to be hit with an emotion and or behavior that's going to get you out of your state to where you don't even want to work out anymore. So what are those? Because I'm sure you can trace them over and over again. And the third thing I do is I personify that behavior, that feeling, right? So when it comes to shooting videos, sometimes I overthink it. You know, I think, well, you know, maybe this isn't the right topic, or maybe I should do another topic, or maybe I should hold off today, right, and shoot it next week. I just posted a video. Why am I going so crazy about this? Why don't I write a blog? I just start thinking, and now I termed it the thinker. So when it's time to shoot a video, produce a video, I say, oh, there goes the thinker again, getting in the way. So as you begin to think about your life and the promises that you've yet to keep to yourself or having a hard time doing so, think about those emotions, those behaviors that follow that trigger of it's time to execute, and see how they steer you in the wrong way and call it out. But again, one of the cornerstones I mentioned at the top of self-esteem, of self-confidence, is our ability to keep promises to ourselves. And whether we choose to pay up front or pay in the future, we're going to pay if we don't keep that promise. So for all of you who have goals, who set big expectations for yourself, make sure in the interim that you are keeping those promises to yourself, because at the end of the day, it all matters. It all matters in the big picture.